In this video I will share my thoughts for the instructors on the game Bouncy Castle and on Halma and Halma Extreme to the end of the video as well. So first of all, the game The Bouncy Castle doesn't really exist, so I accidentally invented it by misinterpreting the right rule set of the game Halma. Halma was invented by George Monks, and the authors of the 21 strategy games adapted the game to the chessboard, and this is the source where I got it from. So the time frame is about 8 moves per game, and our main objective is for the children to be always staying alert, because we try to make them think and see the new options that can happen once the opponent allows us a certain jump. And then you need to react to the jump. So first of all, you need to spot the possibility to maybe have a big jump, and then to, well, evaluate it whether it is a good option to begin with. At the same time, you need to have a long-term planning to be able to play the game on a high quality level, because only by having that you can find the best route to move your pieces together. If you just move them intuitively, just single first piece that you see, then you will lose on some options how to keep them together and get the synergy done. A big advantage of the game is that you have really many options, and they differ in quality from each other. And therefore you need to spot them, and you're rewarded for spotting the options, and you are rewarded for analyzing and evaluating these options as well. So it's one of the fair games where really the better strategist wins the game. So here is an example how it looks on the board. Blue did have a bad strategy because he didn't think ahead, he didn't keep his army together, and these three are actually not doing anything in this position. So this is the rule set if you want to reread it again, and I continue with the insights. So our core goal for the children to achieve, and this is something that you are not allowed to tell them directly, is they have to come to the conclusion that keeping their armies together is an advantage. And if you tell them that, they progress in the game obviously, but it doesn't give us the cognitive benefits of the game. So how they can achieve this: if you do it as a group exercise, they can learn it from the peers. If they're doing it on their own, the solo game is great. For achieving this. This is exactly the reason why I invented the solo game for this game that I invented too. So they have to realize that moving the pieces together gives you more jumping options, and the more you can jump, the faster you get to the other side. This is obviously clear for us, for adults, but it's not something that's immediately clear for beginners. So let them come to the conclusion themselves without explaining them the rules. And once they come to this conclusion, they need to learn a second thing, which is also new for most of the children, I guess, is that they need to have a strategy and still adapt the strategy to the certain position. So they need to have a plan, and if the opponent does something, anything, that you can still adapt your plan or just react to the position that is on the board. And so you have a backup plan, that's a strategy, but your first goal is to look at the board and to spot and react dynamically. And the pitfalls that we want to avoid is exactly the opposite of it. First of all, lack of foresight. I show again this example. So blue didn't think ahead is he doing with these pieces, and well, he's in a bad spot. And the second thing is tunnel vision, and I give you an example by showing you the position. So here both sides do have a certain strategy. It's not obviously clear who is winning. Red is trying to get to the bottom side, blue is trying to get to this corner. But the difference in the game that was played is that red was reacting to blues, so he did incorporate his moves. For example, he was thinking about jumping here or jumping about blue ones. Blue, on the other side, he just thought about his own strategy, and he didn't react on red's move at all. For example, the last three moves that he played was moving these three pieces by jumping on top of each other. And using your opponent for your benefit is obviously an advantage compared to not using it. And that is something that the students have to learn as well. And if they don't learn it by intuition, then they will be punished by losing the game. And then they're motivated by trying not to lose the game the next time, and so on. And that's the whole, upside for us as instructors. So the strategical progression during the game is, first of all, they need to have a solid strategy how to finish the game. And by that I mean, for example, the solo game, that they try to have an idea how to get to the other side in a decent amount of moves. If they're on their own, then solo game is maybe the best option that you have. If you are doing this as a group setting in a school, for example, then you can let the students check it, compare the solutions, analyze together, or make it as a challenge who is the fastest, who gets the best solution, and be ready that it takes 20 to 30 minutes for them to find a solution, also a good solution, but there will be a solution. And also, just because it takes 20 to 30 minutes is actually more on the upside, that we can make them work for this amount of time, analyze, and keep their head in the game. Once they get to this point, it's not obviously clear for them. For us it's clear, but for them it's not. That they can apply the same strategy in a two-player match, because these are the same rules and the same objectives, but it's not obviously clear for the children, telling you from my experience. So this is the second step. And the third step, I will tell you this over the board again, so let me go here. So for example, this is not the best strategy, but just to make it quick, let's say that this is the best strategy, just moving around the sideline. And if that would be the best solution and red knows it, then red can also just copy it, and we do just the very same thing all over again to the end. And if we just finish it, then blue finishes first and wins the game, meaning red isn't really smart doing this. You don't need to tell this to your students, they can find it on their own once they play a few games, if they use the same strategy. So either red has to switch to a better strategy, but then blue can copy it, or the only possible solution for playing this game is if red doesn't copy it, but goes for confrontation, like this one. And then blue cannot do his strategy, because there will be red in his path, and again, it's not obviously clear who's winning the game. But what's clear is that there will be some adaptations, either from red or for blue, to get this game done. And that's what we want to achieve. This is the whole action of the game once they get to this conclusion. And then we will have the decision making. Once these armies collide, then there will be a lot of options and a lot of thinking. Again, I can give you an example. So let me switch the board and show you this position. So this is a position that I played against a chess playing student. Actually, he had 2000 Elo, and we got to this position, and I just copied to show some interesting lines. So it's blue to move, and each move that you can do, it has some benefits and it has some downsides. But you cannot calculate it properly. Well, a computer can, obviously, but we are not speaking about chess grandmasters for this game, but beginners who are trying to get the first idea of a strategy game. So we can try to make this move, and by doing this we allow red to jump over 4 pieces, but at the same time we can also jump over 3 of our opponent's pieces. So who got really the advantage in this game? It's not obviously clear. So this might be an option, even if we allow the opponent to jump over our pieces. Same time he can jump here, but we can jump over his, and again, who got more advantage, more benefit out of this exchange, it's not clear, so you have to evaluate. Well, maybe play, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's also something that's a big benefit of chess, and here we have the same competences to learn from. Also, it's completely fine, or at least interesting, to allow red to jump all over our position, since if he jumps us, we can also jump over him. Well, he can jump here, the game continues, but as you see, that's an interesting exchange, and you need to evaluate who got the most out of it. And so on and so forth, but this is like, the bread and butter of the whole game, if 2 competent players are playing against each other. So going back to the slides, the motivation is really, really high with this game, and also the cognitive benefits are really high, so that's why it is a really good game, and it is one of my favorites for this reason. So for the solo game, that's a training challenge, and as you know, the task is to finish the game in 40 or less moves. So the optimal solution is 34 moves, and I will present the solution in a second. And our value is, first of all, it's an analytical exercise where you have the board, you move the pieces, you count, you try to better yourself, and actually you can challenge anybody to it, chess players, non-chess players. It's really enjoyable for all. You can make a challenge on time. So what I did in my elementary schools, I gave them 30 or 40 minutes for the whole exercise, and I told them who got the fastest solution. And there were teams of 2 players, and so for out of 10 players, so 5 groups, 3 were faster than 40 moves, the other were 42 and 33, and one group actually solved it fully correctly, perfectly. So showing you the examples what can result, these are potential solutions. So this is a strategy where you move one line of 4, 2 lines of 3 in different direction. This is something that students used as well. You see 2 children, so they are analyzing it together, having some thoughts on it, 2 times 5. And finally, something like this is the best solution. And the best solution I will give you as an example. So this is our starting position, and the perfect way you can change the move order, but essentially it's like this. So let me start again. This is first move, second move, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34 moves. It's doable. For a chess player of advanced level, it's also pretty easy, but our goal is to get the children to a higher strategical level, and therefore, for this reason, the game is pretty good. So let's get back to the slides, and I have a few last thoughts on the game Halma. So this is the original game where I got it from, which was invented by George Monks, although he did use other boards and not the chessboard. The difference is only that you can also jump and move diagonally. I did not implement it in my classes simply because I didn't need to. All the strategical objectives were fulfilled by the jumping castle game. But if you want to use it, feel free to do so and get your own experiences. My thesis is that the game will be played faster because you are confronting your opponent sooner. At the same time, you need to more be aware of all the tactical lines, because you're confronting your opponents faster. Therefore, this is more of a game of reacting, and something like a long-term plan is less critical in this position, because you don't need to worry about solo pieces simply because the game is over sooner. Also, again, by my own mistake, I did use another game called Halma Extreme, also my own name for it. Again, I did misinterpret Halma for a second time, and I thought this was the actual Halma game. And what I understand is that you are only allowed to jump, although you are allowed to jump diagonally and orthogonally. And I did use it in my course. Still, it is a really extremely high difficulty. I wouldn't advise this for the average beginner or strategist. But if you're advanced or an adult, feel free to try it. I'm not sure whether there's always a solution. Therefore, I didn't tell in the first playlist about this game. It's because from the experience that I made, in one of the two games, one side couldn't finish the game for a strange reason, and I don't know whether the students did a mistake or whether it is by design. So I'm not sure, and I'm not claiming that it has a solution, but it is pretty high difficulty, and the difficulty is that way because one stranded piece cannot move at all. So you always need to keep all of your pieces together and try to make the best strategical path to get them to the end. Also, the end game is a real mathematical puzzle, how to get all your pieces only by jumping in the right squares. So it's pretty complicated, challenging, interesting, but a bit out of scope of the regular game. So our game, you can choose Halma, or you can use the Bouncy Castle. The main thing is let the students came to their own conclusion, let them time to think and to progress. And you can keep this game alive for many, many hours. It has still a lot of value then.